Hey there, it's Dr. Sophia Satterwhite, founder and CEO of She Heals the World. I'm so happy that you are tuning in to today's episode to hear the top lifestyle and business tips from women entrepreneurs all around the globe. If you found this show helpful, be sure to share it with a friend. That's how our community grows. Today's guest is coming up next. Amy, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me.
Super happy to have you. Can you just tell everybody how you even got started in this work?
Sure. Modern Farmhouse Glam started 2 years ago when I opened up a separate Instagram account for sharing my home decor and lifestyle. But really, I got started when I was a kid. I've been decorating and having fun being creative and doing all kinds of projects since I was a kid. And with all of the homes that I've had, I had fun just decorating it. And I would love going to the craft store and coming home with cartfuls of garland and holiday decor items and just making my own items. And then as I got older, I had fun with my kids, like making themed birthday parties and trying out new recipes. So I'm always one that's doing a project, and it was all just for my own enjoyment and for my family's. But now with the internet and Instagram, I've been able to share all those ideas. So 2 years ago, my husband and I designed and built our dream home. So all of this creativity and decorating passion really got supercharged. And that's when I decided, you know what, I'm going to start a separate Instagram account for this, because most of the people on my personal Instagram weren't interested in home decor. So I didn't want to bore them with that, and thought, you know what, I'm going to just open up my own Instagram account for home decor and see what happens. And I had no clue that 2 years later it would be at where it was. I was just met with such a great response, and I was able to connect with so many women across the country who share a similar passion for home decorating.
And how is your business funded today? Do you work with sponsors? Do you kind of sell products? What does the back end of that look like?
Yeah, so I've had a lot of great opportunities with brand partnerships now, and that started pretty quickly after I opened up my Instagram account. So I do get sponsorships that way, and I also get some income through affiliate linking, with linking like furniture and decor items in my home, and then you get commissions through affiliate linking.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now, when you were growing up, did you ever think that you would kind of become a celebrity?
Well, so when I was little, I wanted to be a doctor and a mom. And I went to Penn State, and I ended up going into, my major was health policy administration. So instead
Wow.
of being a doctor, I wanted to do more of the business end of it, but also healthcare related. And then my senior year, I got recruited by a pharmaceutical company. And so I ended up being a drug rep for Pfizer for the next 10 years after college. And that was a fantastic career. And then at the end of that career, I started having my kids, and it just became way too crazy trying to be in corporate America and and be a mom. So I decided just to focus on the kids at that time. But then we also started another business too, which was kind of crazy. My husband and I ended up opening up a group home, which is like an assisted living facility for elderly. So we did that whole run. But now, you know what, like after, then we ended up selling that business, and it was nice just to focus on the kids. And then now I'm able to get back into the workforce, so to say, but on my own terms. So not being like a 9 to 5 in the daily grind. And I get to do what I love doing and share it, and be an entrepreneur. So it's been really awesome.
Yeah. So I have to say, I love your Instagram. It's so bright, it's so airy, it's so clean and organized. And I'm just wondering, how did you kind of grow this skill of interior design and styling?
You know what? It's just something that I've always loved. And in terms of like setting up my aesthetic on Instagram, that was just sort of a learning curve. And I had to learn, you know, if you go way back to my very first post, I've changed and grown a lot in terms of my skills with taking photos and styling. And it's just a learning process, just like any other kind of job. You just kind of learn as you go along, and I'm not afraid to get in there and try to learn new things and new skills.
I love it. It is absolutely beautiful. Well, I imagine that at some point you had to kind of move from this just being a hobby and something that you loved, even though you are always going to love this, but it had to become more. It had to become a business. And like you said, you had to start to like work with partners and find different companies to partner with for affiliate income and really get this going so that it was supporting you. What hurdles did you overcome in that whole building process to getting this organized and getting this running like a real actual business?
Well, I think probably the biggest challenge is when you're an entrepreneur, there's a lot of unknowns. And sometimes it really sucks trying to figure out stuff that you don't know. So you just have to be willing to get in there and do the grunt work. It's amazing how much information you can find out on YouTube about anything or online, So even
Yeah.
even simple things like I needed a new printer that was able to print like really high quality images, and
Mm,
I didn't have a printer for my Mac. So even just simple things like that. It's like, even though sometimes you don't feel like learning about printers, you just got to get in there and figure it out. So I
mm,
think that's the biggest obstacle, is just everything is new when you're an entrepreneur, and there's different parts of your business that you don't have a clue about. But you know what? You just got to get in there and figure it out. And once you learn how to deal with unstructured problems and learn how to attack those things, then all of a sudden you're an expert in that area and you have confidence to attack the next problem that comes up.
Did you ever feel like I can't do this? Like this is too hard to stick with, or there's just too much to learn? I guess I'm thinking about that because I'm thinking of the new folks who are listening who are like, oh my gosh, I just started my family too, or I have a really great design skill with home decor, and I've posted some pictures here and there, but nobody's liked it, or it's never taken off. Did you ever have that experience where you're like, oh geez, I don't know if this is ever going to make it anywhere?
Oh, yeah, sure. I mean, you have to be able to be persistent, and you also have to know when to take a break. So sometimes things can be very overwhelming because the time that you have is finite, and I have a million things that I want to do. I have a million ideas and a lot of things going on, but sometimes you just got to sit back and you got to write everything down on a piece of notebook paper and then figure out what your highest and best use of time is and prioritize. So every morning I look at my list and there's a million things there, but I decide, what has to happen today? And I pick out like maybe the top 5 things and I tackle those things first. So I get my workout in the morning. I make sure that I'm feeling good. Everything else is taken care of. And then I tackle those 5 big goals first. And then after lunch and towards the afternoon, then all those littler things seem a little bit less important, and they're a little easier at that point because you've gotten the big things that you feel pressured to get done. And the other thing also is, if you're feeling really overwhelmed, sometimes you just need to step back and take a break. So a few weeks ago, I had so many ideas and tasks and things that I wanted to do. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to take a break from just my daily grind of like posting on all my platforms, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube. And I'm just going to take a little bit of a breather. I want to be able to feel inspired and creative and not just like in the weeds here. And
Yeah.
so, you know what? It really helped me just clear my brain. And then I came back more inspired and feeling just much more creative and motivated. So sometimes you just got to take a break.
I love that. I love that. So, as you've been stepping back, I mean, you have built a very successful machine. And I'm wondering, even though you take those breaks and you jump back in, what are you most proud of with your business? What is your greatest win?
Let's see. I would think overall, my greatest win is just the relationships that I've built with my followers. I
Mm,
really care about them, and I've built some true friendships there. And I'm able to connect with other women with similar passions that otherwise, if it weren't for the internet or through this really highly niched group that I have, I would have never known those people. So
yeah.
that's been really, really fun. And trying to help some of these women try to decorate their houses and things like that. I get DMs all the time about, hey, I have this living room that I have no clue how to decorate. I don't know what color couch, I don't know what to put on the walls. And I'll try to give them advice and sort of show them how to put things together. And
Yeah.
it's really gratifying to see the finished product and to know that I've helped them make a cozy space for their family and help to show them how to make choices for their home so that they can feel confident to then go ahead and do the same thing. So that's been really awesome. But in terms of like the biggest win for my business, I would think the first biggest win for Modern Farmhouse Glam was partnering with eBay. They reached out to me early on, and I was so surprised because I didn't think that I was being noticed by any brands, especially a big brand. So that was really, really cool and fun. So I worked on a project with them, and it just helped show me that I had value and I had something to offer my followers and brands. And it just gave me more confidence to move forward and say, hey, you know what? I really have something here. And then I started reaching out to other brands, and it really just started steamrolling. So that was definitely the first big win, and it's only just the beginning. And it's been really an exciting partnership, and I can't wait to see where the business goes.
I can't wait to. I love getting like steals on eBay. It is like such eBay and Etsy, they're like so great. You just start digging and sometimes you don't come out, for 4 or 5 hours later. You're like, where was I for the last 5 hours? But the
just like going into Target.
Exactly. Exactly. I absolutely love it. Well, I'd love to get into the decor actually because it would really not be smart of me to kind of tap into your genius as it relates to the beautiful style that you have with your own kind of farmhouse glam chic approach to decorating your house. So do you have any tips for us if we are, working with a blank slate and we want to kind of cozy up our home and give it some farmhouse glam? What would you tell us? And what are some things that we can do to really up level the decor in our home?
I think, Mom, the first thing I would say is to take your time and get a good feel for the space. So when we moved into our new home, I did not want to rush it and do everything at once because your tastes kind of evolve over time and trends kind of change. And sometimes it takes a while to kind of get inspired for what exactly you want to do in a room. So I like to kind of go with one piece that's sort of like an inspiration piece and then build from there. And in terms of just like the bones of the house, the way that I came up with Modern Farmhouse Glam is my unique style of overall modern, and then a touch of modern farmhouse, which cozies it up, and then a little bit of glam. So that basically means my background colors are all like neutral colors, like soft grays, white. And then I have the warm wood floors because if you go with all gray and white, then the house looks too sterile. So you really need the warm wood textures to bring in the warm coziness feel. And then greenery is always a good go-to. You can stick a fake plant or floral arrangement anywhere in a blank corner, and it really warms up the space. So greenery is always a really good go-to. And when you have a neutral backdrop, like the grays, whites, and warm woods, it's really easy to pop in accent colors for the holidays and seasons. So like with fall time, I can pop in oranges and it doesn't clash with anything. And I wouldn't want orange permanently. So it's perfect just to have it for a couple months and then get rid of it. And then in is going to come the Christmas stuff. So then, red looks really great with light grays.
Absolutely love that. So I have to also ask about your favorite places to grab steals. Where can we get deals on home decor stuff?
Well, online shopping is key right now. So I love, Amazon like everybody else. Who doesn't love receiving stuff in 2 days? We're all so spoiled now. Yes. So yeah, Amazon is a go-to. Walmart online is really awesome these days too. Target, of course. Pottery Barn is one of my favorites for like higher end decor. And Wayfair is great for furniture too. So
yes, I love Wayfair, and I also like Home Goods. I don't know if you're a Home Goods shopper.
Oh yeah, I'm a huge Home Goods girl. Yeah.
On my lunch breaks, I find myself just driving to the local Home Goods, like, oh, let me just see what's available today. And the only downside is that they don't, have anything online, so I have to actually physically go in the store. Unless I'm wrong, have they changed that? Do they have an online shop now that I'm missing?
You know what? They have online for TJ Maxx.
Okay.
But it's not the same as Home Goods. Home Goods is
It's
my favorite out of
not.
their brands too. Yeah, I love Home Goods.
Yeah, it's not. So I totally love to shop there as well. I mean, I feel like home decor is so therapeutic.
Oh yeah, it's
Just
tons of
be the
fun.
creative part of you.
And you know what? The other great thing is if you're on a budget, garage sales. So like our
Mhm.
entire first home, we furnished with all garage sale finds.
What?
And yeah, you would never know. And we found great things. Like, so we would search out all the neighborhood garage sales going on, and you could
Mm,
find some really great things. I mean, we did that with baby clothes and baby gear and items that we needed. It's a way
mm.
to really save money. And then we used all that furniture and for years. And when we moved, we ended up selling that stuff for more than we had bought it for. So that's a really
Wow.
good tip. If you're on a budget, don't pass up garage sales and make sure you're like the early bird gets the worm. So you got to get there first and you can really steal some great deals.
Ah, that is great. That is super helpful. I'm going to be combing my newspaper soon and look at the garage
Yeah. And even like, Facebook Marketplace has become so popular and Craigslist.
sale.
So you can find some really good furniture finds there.
Yes, I sold the couch on Craigslist when I got out of college ages ago. And my husband, who at that point was my boyfriend, he's like, "You're really going to sell that couch on Craigslist?" I'm like, "Heck yeah." Somebody
Absolutely.
couch.
I love it.
And they wanted it. And they wanted it. So I did not knock Craigslist at all.
Yeah, I love it.
So before we talk about like just, if you could look back and give your younger self any piece of advice, I have one more decor question specifically around wall art. Wall art is like my kryptonite. I suck at wall art. I can do so much more decor stuff, but when it comes to like placing frames and, just kind of figuring out how to effectively design the walls, I just fall. And I'm just wondering if you have any tips for those of us who are wall art challenged.
I would say in general, wall art should be eye level. So
Mm,
that's a good, just sort of basic rule of thumb.
mm.
Um, I actually have not put a ton of wall art up in our new house just because for whatever reason, I have trouble putting nail holes in the wall in a new house with everything being like crisply painted and everything.
Yes, yes.
So yeah, I mean, I think mirrors are great. That's always a good go-to of mine. And
Yeah.
once again, eye level, I think is a good, and you know what? I think less is more too. Like you
Mm,
don't want to have walls full of cluttered up items. And
mhm.
what's really popular now are accent walls.
Yes.
So instead of putting just like a piece of art on the wall, you could do like shiplap or board and batten, and it really adds like some texture and character to the room.
Yes, love that. Absolutely love it. Amy, this has been so helpful. I'm so thankful that you came on the show to share these glorious tips. If you could look back and give your 10-year younger self any piece of advice, what would it be?
Well, 10 years ago, I had just had my second baby. And when you have a new baby, the struggle is always, do I keep going on my career path or do I stay home with the kids? And so I would tell myself back then, you're doing the right thing because I decided to focus on the kids. And what I know now is that time, even though you're like in the weeds and those days are so long, when you look back at it, it's just kind of like a blip on the map. And there's plenty of time later to get back into the workforce or to become an entrepreneur or get back to your personal ambitions. So I'm really glad that I had that focus then. And, we did have a business that we started around that time. And I'm really glad that we did. But I wasn't like being stuck at a job 9 to 5 away from my kids. So I was able to take my son with me with what we were doing at that time with our new business venture. And I ended up getting out of that when we sold that business, but I'm really happy that I had that time home with the kids. And I know that's such a struggle for moms.
Yeah.
So I think I made the right decision. And now that my kids are 10 and 12, they're so independent. And once they go back to school, which is going to be next week, you have all that time during the day to focus on your passion. So even though it seems like you're kind of stuck in that mommy phase, it really does go by quick, and you have so much time later to focus on your own personal passions.
Beautiful. Absolutely love that. Phenomenal advice. How can our audience find and support you?
My website is www.modernfarmhouseglam.com. And there's links on there to all of my social media platforms, including my Instagram, Modern Farmhouse Glam, Pinterest, YouTube, and TikTok. And also on my website, I have a lot of fun new products there, seasonal for fall, Halloween, and Christmas.
Thanks for coming on the show, Amy, and I can't wait to have you back.
Thanks so much for having me.
Well, there you have it. Thanks for listening to the She Heals the World talk show with Dr.
To learn more about how to live your life by design, grab a freebie at shehealstheworld.com/freebie.